All right, this is Ubaid on behalf of V Electronics, and in this video, we'll be talking about intra-industry trade. Now, when it comes to intra-industry trade, this has to do with trade within the same industry. Okay, so let me write this down on here. So this is intra-industry trade. Okay, this is trade within the same industry. Now, this could be an industry like the auto industry. It could be appliances industry. It could be the real estate industry, so on and so forth. So within the same industry. Now, what this basically means is that two countries they involve in trade, despite the fact that they import and export, okay, the same product, for example. So if it's vehicles, okay, they could be importing and exporting vehicles at the same time, right? They could be importing a certain type of vehicle, and they could be exporting a certain type of vehicle in exchange. All right. Now, the question is, how do these two countries profit or gain from this kind of trade? And the answer lies in two things. Okay, two factors. Number one has to do with economies of scale. So, number one has to do with economies of scale. And the second one has to do with division of labor. All right, now to understand economies of scale, we've talked about economies of scale back in the past, but to understand economies of scale within this context, we'll need to understand division of labor. And this division of labor, okay, has to do with a division of labor in different countries, for example. So this is division of labor in different countries. So basically, your supply chain is broken down into different stages. And with these stages in mind, you have different stages, okay, in different countries. Okay, so say for example, if a product is designed in country A, so let's say design is in country A. Let's say somebody comes up with the idea to design a product in country A, so this is CA. The same product, okay, will be assembled in country B. So this is assembly in country B. All right, so here you have two countries dealing with the same product, okay, where you have division of labor. All right, so you're technically splitting up the value chain, the supply chain. Okay, you're technically splitting up specialization. So country A, okay, might have human capital, so the workers might be more educated, more skilled to design and come up with a prototype of a certain product. Whereas country B may have no shortage, well, metaphorically speaking, no shortage of labor. Okay, they might have um, a large workforce, as a result of which they can get the work done. They can assemble this product, okay, at a lower cost, okay, which means they will be paying their employees a little less than what country A might be paying their employees as per their minimum wages. Okay, so in that case, what's going to end up happening is a corporation, for example, which is a company in different countries. So a corporation will take advantage of this division of labor and they will go ahead and set up factories, warehouses, distribution centers, okay, retail stores, so on and so forth in different countries. Okay, so that way, when a product is designed in the home country, it will go ahead and get assembled in a developing country, for example. All right. So that way, the cost of production goes down. And at the same time, because of specialization of labor, because of specialization, you also have import and export between two countries. All right. Which is relevant to your intra-industry trade. Okay. Because one country, for example, will specialize in a certain part. Okay. So let's say because of raw materials available in a certain country, country say, for example, country A will specialize in the bumper of a car. All right, so this is a car bumper. Whereas country B may specialize in the engine because of the raw materials and type of labor available within country B. Okay, based on human capital, based on uh, their investment in technology, tools, equipment, gadgets, so on and so forth. Okay, and then country C may specialize in wheels or tires. Okay, so you have country C over here that will specialize in wheels or tires. All right, so you've got three different countries producing three different parts, auto parts, as a result of which now you have, okay, auto parts are making up a single vehicle, okay, being traded between countries, okay, by the same corporation. And this has to do with intra-industry trade because the corporation understands that, hey, listen, um, we cannot manufacture, okay, this particular auto part. We cannot manufacture this particular part of a finished product, okay, in a certain country because of lack of raw materials, natural resources, okay, specialization of labor. Okay, maybe they don't have a certain type of workers, okay, or a certain type of workforce. Okay, as a result of which, the corporation will go ahead and divide the workforce in different countries. Now, when they do this, okay, they will import and export parts between these two countries. All right. So, say for example, if you have plants in the U.S., okay, you have manufacturers in the U.S., they might have assembly plants in Mexico and Canada. So that way, okay, you have parts being made in Mexico and Canada, and they get exported to U.S., okay, to make the finished product. All right. So in that case, okay, you have a trade within the same industry, but between multiple countries. All right, because you have the same corporation that is importing and exporting parts that it needs to make the finished product between different countries. So that has to do with division of labor. And the second portion to this, okay, the second part to this when it comes to intra-industry trade and how, okay, companies or corporations profit or gain from intra-industry trade has to do with economies of scale. Okay, and we've talked about economies of scale in the past. This has to do with cost of production. The cost of production goes down as you invest more capital into the business, for example. So let's say, for example, if a country or a company decides to invest in equipment, machinery, tools, gadgets, so on and so forth, okay, the cost of production will gradually go down. Okay, it will gradually go down as the production goes up. So as the number of products being produced goes up. Okay, and this has to do with corporations. All right. Now, this has to do with economies of scale as well. All right, because the economies of scale theory says, hey, listen, as you produce more, the cost of production goes down because of capital investment. Okay, corporations might require fewer workers to produce the same quantity of the product that they're producing, or they might be able to produce more with the same number of workers because of capital investment. So a machine may be able to produce 100 units rather than manual labor, which might be able to produce 20 units. Okay, so as companies invest in capital investments, okay, as companies invest in equipment, machinery, and gadgets and tools, okay, the cost of production for those companies when it comes to producing a finished product will go down. As a result of which, okay, the corporation, for example, will go ahead and make these investments, okay, in different countries, right? We've talked about division of labor. Because of division of labor, corporations will invest machinery in different countries based on availability of raw materials, based on availability of natural resources to make those machineries or to make the finished product, and based on availability of labor, depending on how expensive it is for the company or the corporation to hire workers. Okay, pay them benefits, pay them wages, pay them salaries, so on and so forth. Okay, so it has to do with economies of scale. And these are the two reasons why countries and companies, especially corporations, they profit or um, let's say they gain from intra-industry trade compared to a small business. Because a small business may be located within one country, as a result of which the small business may not be able to profit or gain from economies of scale, may not be able to profit or gain from division of labor. All right, so that would be it for this video. On behalf of V Electronics, this is Obey. Have yourself a great day.